Hey, everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of the Free to Be podcast with me, Jazzy P. I'm so excited. I am back in this creator space, this creative space, and I'm super excited. But ironically enough, if you listen to the Free to Be podcast promo, I said, I want to break out and break away from the parenting and the motherhood box that I felt like I was placing myself in. And funny enough, I am doing my very first podcast on the Free to Be podcast about none other than parenting. How crazy is that? But like I also said on that episode, parenting and motherhood is a part of who I am. It's a huge part of my life and has been for the past 5 years. It's literally what I do. And so I thought for the very first guest of the very first episode, for the very first topic, who other than to have the person who made me a mother, this person that I am sharing this parenting journey with, none other than my husband, my baby daddy, Levester Posey. How you doing, babe?
Hey, I'm doing good. So yeah, I'm here, Levester Posey.
Well, thank you for being on the show and thank you for being my very first guest.
You're welcome.
All right, so you want to tell the folks about, who you are for those who don't know, and a little bit about what you do.
Oh yeah, so like we said, my name is Levester Posey. I am a father, a husband, a man. A platform called P. Kids where I aim to empower Black children for success in life and school. With that brand, I just saw a need for more content, just media and stuff with Black kids on them, and to empower them, to show them that they can do things and things like that. So I started this brand called P. Kids. So I hope you check it out.
I love that so much. And I want to ask, had it not been for our son, do you think that maybe a two-part, do you think that you would have been as passionate about children's content? And do you think that you would have created content that was really targeted towards children, Black
Um,
children and children of color?
so no, so my son is really a good motivation for me to create this stuff that I do. Just when he was born, and just being in that space of how I want to teach him things and what kind of stuff I want to show him. I did my research to see what was out there, see what kind of cartoons are out there, what kind of books are out there. So I just did my research on that, and then just saw the lack of it. So my background's in game development, so I was already in the game development space. And so when I saw that there wasn't a lot of content out there, I just took it upon myself to make it.
That is true. Cause like thinking about what you watched growing up, I will say there was probably more content that was that featured and had cast members of color, but it wasn't that much. What kind of stuff did you watch growing up?
So growing up, I did a lot of cartoons. So Cartoon Network was pretty much what I watched, and I watched like Dexter's Laboratory,
He not
Ed, Ed
black.
and Eddie.
They not black.
No, they're not. What else did I watch? I used to watch a show called Bobby's World. He wasn't a
Who
black kid.
Bobby?
He used to ride around on a little tricycle, and he wasn't black either. Really, used to watch Rugrats. I mean, just they had Susie in there. So there really wasn't a lot of black cartoons. I'm pretty sure I watched. I know Gullah Gullah Island. I definitely watched Gullah Gullah Island.
Okay,
Um,
everybody watch that.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure there's more. But they're just not as iconic, or they're just not coming to me like these other ones do.
Hmm. But even to your point about Rugrats, a lot of us, we watch Rugrats as well. But Susie was a black girl. And I love black girl magic, but that whole push for black boy joy and young black boy representation, I don't think we saw that as much, kind of to your point, like you were saying.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, let's take it back a little bit and talk about how you were parented and how you think that shaped how you parent our son. Now, I will say, for those that are listening, we have had this conversation several times, and I would say it probably started off as like a debate before we had kids. But we've learned to, agree to disagree, but we can get into that a little bit. So tell us a little bit about how you were parented and how that shaped your parenting.
So I grew up in a Christian household, and my parents had strong Christian values, and I got whoopings, so I was disciplined with whoopings, and so yeah, so that was their parenting style, how they disciplined. They did allow me to do things, um, like go out and do things with my friends and stuff, and they were loving and caring. I would say I had loving and caring parents. They tried to do the best for me and my sister. As we was growing up, we always had my dad would always try to have like good birthday parties for us, and Christmas come around, he'll give us like a lot of gifts, and they would do everything in their power to make sure we were safe and growing up and things like that. And as far as the punishments goes, we didn't always get like whoopings and stuff like that, but it like evolved as we got older. So when we was younger, um, we probably got like hit on the hand with a ruler or something. And then if we got a little older, it turned into a belt, then it turned into a paddle, and then it turned into just being grounded or things taken away from us when we hit our teenager years.
Not the escalation, though. Not the older you got, the worse. Oh my God. Like your parents unlocked a new level every time y'all aged
Mhm.
up. Oh no. That is funny. I mean, I know you have shared that with me before, but I don't think I ever quite made that connection before. Maybe I don't know if you've ever said it quite like that before.
You gotta stick with the kids. You gotta upgrade with the kids.
Okay, new levels, new devils. Your parents was not playing. Gotta whip them devils up out of you.
Hmm.
That's funny. And now that you say that, I wonder not so much how your parenting style, how you were parented affected your parenting style, but now I'm wondering how much did your wife's influence your parenting style?
Hmm. And I'll say, for me personally, my parenting style, like I don't whoop my son, like um, and I don't think even if you didn't come into the picture, I wouldn't want my to whoop my kid. Not because I don't think it didn't have any value. It's just that times are changing, and I think I'm more as a parent, I'm more open to things. Like I used to get like whoopings and things for not asking for like snacks and stuff. And I guess I don't think anything's too serious for a whooping these days. He's just a kid. He's just exploring. He's trying to do stuff. So I don't think there's anything to warrant that type of punishment.
Okay, but let me tell you, sometimes I be feeling like, why are we not whooping him again? Like, why? Why are we not doing this? Because woo I don't hit our son, but I definitely wonder why I don't sometimes.
And do you think it's just as you don't have the patience to show him a better way, or you just generally think he needs a whooping to
No,
be
it
corrected?
absolutely. Go ahead.
I was just asking, do you think it's just because you're just at a point that you're just so frustrated you don't know a different way to correct his behavior, or do you think that's the answer to be a whooping, I guess? Or
So
that's
yes,
just, yeah.
yes and no. When I feel myself saying that jokingly, of course, but also a little bit serious, I am at a point where I am frustrated and like the redirection, the timeout, whatever is not working. And yes, I know there are alternatives, but I'm feeling really impatient, is what it is.
Hmm.
Impatient with myself and impatient with the action. And I'm like, okay, right now, I just want him to sit down right now in this moment. So I
Hmm.
know at least I've never whooped him, so I don't know. But I'm thinking, okay, if I just whoop him, then he will sit down. But like if I were to do that at this point, like quite literally, I think that would really erode every bit of trust or whatever that he has in me, because I'm always saying, because when he was going through like his hitting phase, like kids do, I would always ask him, I'm like, do I hit you when I get angry? Do I hit you? Do I put my hands on you? And so if for me to turn around and do that to him now, after, reiterating that and really making that a part of our conversation and a part of our dynamic, for us to do that now, I think it would do more harm than good, and probably even more so than if I were to have whooped him from the very beginning. So
Yeah.
yes, to answer your question, it definitely is when I'm feeling frustrated and impatient, do I feel like, why are we not whooping him? Yeah, so
Mhm.
yeah, definitely.
Okay. And that's where I feel like it comes from. It's just parents, they are just frustrated in the moment. They don't know how to correct the behavior. And a lot of times it just takes patience, and a lot of people are short on patience, especially when it comes to a child and you're the adult and you just want them to listen.
Mhm. And then there's so many other factors, and we don't necessarily have to get into it, but so many factors that um cause parents to be impatient. You may be working 12-hour days and you need your kids to sit down and do their homework because you got to go over here and cook dinner or, just whatever. So, not saying that is right or wrong. It just kind of is for some people. And then we could start talking about slavery. But, like I
Mhm.
said, that's a different conversation for a different episode.
Yeah.
I do want to say, are parents that hit their kids, are they still good parents? Can they be good parents?
I say yeah, they can. 'Cause like I said, my parents, they disciplined us with physical means, and I believe they were still good parents. And they, like I said, they provided the best life that they could for me and my sister in the time that they had. So if y'all don't know, my dad died when I was 14, so things changed after that. So when he was alive and my mom and dad were together, they, like I said, they provided the best life that they could for us, and they exposed us to a lot of things and let us explore a lot of things. So that's what I think a good parent is and what they do. They raise their kid to the best of their abilities. They don't try to hold them back from different things and just let them grow to be a good person or grow into the person that they want to be with limited trauma and influence on them, I guess, to let them make their own decisions and stuff like that.
Sure. I think most good parents, they're doing their best they can. But had you asked me, I guess 6 years ago, if I thought that a parent that hit their child was a good parent, I wouldn't necessarily say that it made them a bad parent, but I
Mhm.
can probably say that my thoughts have definitely changed. I would have probably said, and I don't know if I would have admitted it, but I probably would have thought that a parent that whooped their kids or physically disciplined them was not as good of a parent as another parent that didn't. I definitely had my judgments and my reservations about that type of parenting style. And although I still don't agree with it, everything has to be contextualized. And I feel like I'm about to go off on a tangent. But also, I mean, I still don't think there is any reason to hit a child, especially like a 5-year-old, especially out of anger. But it was actually my uncle. I was talking to my uncle, one of my uncles on my mom's side, and he really changed my perspective. And he said, he never hit his children when he was angry. And he literally just used spankings as a form of discipline. So he said he would do timeouts in the moment. And then after he had cooled down 20 minutes later, an hour later, he would hit their kids and then tell them why. And so again, I don't agree, but for him to kind of put it in that perspective, because prior to him sharing that, I had only heard about parents whooping their kids in the moment when they were angry, right after the action had occurred. But for him to say, I whooped my son or my children after I calmed down, that just really made me think about that differently.
Mhm.
Okay, so switching gears a little bit, let's talk about how many children you wanted when you were growing up. Why and how has that changed?
So growing up, I always wanted three children. I wanted two boys and one girl. I don't know why. I just wanted that. Um, and yeah, so I don't know exactly why I wanted two boys and one girl. I know I wanted to name my first son Levester, and I didn't have really have a name for the other two when I was younger. So I was like, I want my first son to be Levester, and I guess my wife can name the other two. So,
Ah, do we ever even come up with any names that we actually liked?
I don't think so. Well, we did girl names, but
We
not
did.
another
We
boy
did have
name.
a girl name. That's true. I think we kind of talked about Levi a little bit.
Yeah. But then
And
somebody else like have a son named Levi, and it was like can't have two Levi's or
I
something like
mean,
that.
yeah, but like that's okay.
Yeah.
But we also I kind of felt like, okay, your name starts with the L, my name starts with the J, our son's name starts with the L. I felt like we had to go either with the L or the J for the next name, and that really limited the names that were available, at least the names that I perceived as being available.
I guess
Because
is there any reason you felt like that? Like, why does that matter? We could have named them Quebec.
Hezekiah,
Yeah.
Sebastian. Now you know I wanted to name my next son Sebastian. I wanted
Mhm.
to have two sons named Sebastian. That's a little inside thing for those that are listening. But because I always, so maybe this is trauma, but um it always seemed odd to me. Like you have a family, everybody name start with, I don't know, an M. You got Michelle, you got Michael, you got Michaela, you got Mackenzie, you got, everybody's name start with M. And then like the middle child's name is Hezekiah. Like how, like why isn't that son or that child's name starting with the M either? Like, or if you
Mhm.
have just like some type of theme, you got a Harry, a Larry, a Jerry, and then you got a Bob. Like, come on now. That's a little rude, quite
Yeah.
frankly. So I didn't want to do that to our child, but it ended up not really mattering.
Okay.
So that's why. Yeah, I wanted three kids too, and I think that is something that, well, obviously something that we agreed on in the beginning when we were young and had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. We were like, yes, we both want three kids, and we want the first son to be a junior or a third in this case. Um, so that was really, really, I was glad that we matched up on that.
Mhm.
And so do you still want three kids?
No, I don't. So now I be happy with two, and yeah. So a boy and a girl would be nice, I guess, just to get the other side of the spectrum. And yeah, so I just want two now.
Yeah, I kind of still want three. I mean, I do want three. I am not giving birth to any more children. I really, really hope that's not in God's plan for our life, but I don't want to give birth to any more children, but I definitely want to raise more kids. And I do want a girl. For the first maybe 3, 4 years of Poppy's life, I was very, very content being a boy mom, being an only child mom. And if you had asked me at that time, I was adamant as I'm not having no more kids, I'm not raising any more kids, this is it. But truthfully, I always wanted more. Even when I said I didn't want more, it was really coming out of a place of exhaustion,
Mhm.
and what felt like the lack of support. But because I always wanted kids growing up, my parents did foster care, and we at one point had 5 kids in the house. And then I grew up with a really big family. I always had cousins around and friends around. And I always just loved how lively and fun the household felt growing up. So I wanted that. And I do still want that for my son. But things just change. The more
Yeah.
things change, the more they change because ain't nothing stayed the same. And I really, what I think changed, because I think at one point we may have even said, like, let's just have the kids back to back or maybe like 2 years apart.
Mhm.
I think after, Poppy was like 6 months, we were like, yeah, let's have another. And then something almost overnight, it was like, no, I think we're good. If maybe it was the move. And
You
once
said that?
what?
I said you said let's have another one because I thought you was like, nah, I'm done after Poppy came out.
No, I kinda right, okay, now right after he came out and for, like, a couple months, I wanted another
Uh,
one, like, "Yeah, let's do it."
I thought you like, nah, I'm done. We chilling right now.
No, No, because I was naive then, and I wasn't stressed out and worn out that early on. It was maybe around month, I don't know. It was probably around that 6, 7 months mark, probably when he started walking.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this something.
Do you
Nah.
think the pandemic had some influence on that? Because that's
I
around
mean,
the time things started happening.
probably it's really hard to say definitively. I think the pandemic really had an effect on everybody. I mean, it did have an effect on everyone who was able, to live through it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really hard to say if that directly impacted my decision, but I don't know, probably. I don't know. Do you ever feel pressure to have more kids?
I don't feel pressure, but I guess I do kind of, because I do, like I said, I do want to have another child, and I guess it was like my childhood dream to be a father. I guess because when we went back to Indianapolis, and my mom, she kept like a whole bunch of stuff that I did when I was younger, like first and second grade, when they tell you like what you want to do with your life and what you want to do when you're older. And I saw one of them say I wanted to be a father and a scientist.
Mm.
So I guess I kind of feel the pressure just because Poppy, he be asking about it, and I really don't want him to be um alone, I guess, because it seemed like he's kind of bored sometimes, and it'd be great for him to have somebody to play with. And then when he gets older, and he has kids, his kids can have cousins. Because if you think about it, if we don't have any more kids, he won't have any brothers and sisters, and then his kids won't have any uncles or aunties. So it's just the trickle down effect, and then they won't have any cousins. So and then also, I guess I feel pressure to not really have more kids, but share my knowledge and through my genes. I can do that because I was just a couple months ago when they had like the brat saying they couldn't find like a sperm donor for a black man, and for me, I would be a sperm donor just because like I'm pretty smart. I look good, so I can be a sperm donor and help the world populate more black people that are smart and look good. So a little bit.
That is a very male centric response, I think.
But it's
And
not like I want to. I don't want to be like Nick Cannon out here and have a lot of kids or whatever. But I just feel like I can have a contribution to the problem.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just telling you how I received that information. Like, because so just even talking about like the genetic donation aspect of it, I
Mm-hmm.
understand what you're saying. First of all, you could just be helpful to people that want to be parents. And then on top of that, you feel like very quality, you have quality sperm. But
Mm-hmm.
as a woman, I'm like, I absolutely would love to donate my eggs, but I am against it because just the thought of there being a child that is biologically mine in the world that I am not emotionally, physically connected to, that's uncomfortable for me. And I don't like the thought of that. But it's just interesting how men can detach,
Yeah.
in that.
And I guess it would be it's a much more dangerous process to get your eggs out than it is for me to donate sperm. Um, and I feel like I feel that way if I know the child, like I was there, um, like through the whole pregnancy process, I guess. Um, because I said I can donate it as long as I know the child is in good hands. Like I donate my sperm, the child's a good family in good hands. But if I know who they are, then I think that'll be an issue. Like
Um,
I know the parents that took my sperm, and I can go see the child. I guess if I really wanted to, that would be the attachment I would have.
so you would like to know that your sperm is in good hands, no pun intended, but
I
you're
guess I would just. I guess I would just like to donate it and be done with it. I donate it. They, the company that I donate to, they know what they're doing. They handle it well, and then I want to forget about it.
Okay. And okay, but if you knew the couple or the family, then it would be harder for you to detach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I do too kind of feel pressure to have more children. I'm really proud of myself for not giving into pressure because historically that has been my MO. But I was like, well, maybe I should take a step back with something as serious as having another kid because
Mm-hmm.
I know that that is not something that I want to do. Like for once, not for once, but for something as major as this, I can't give in to pressure because
Mm-hmm.
children are not accessories and they're not playthings, and it's very serious. And I honestly did not understand the severity of or the gravity of raising a child until you have one. And I'm not sure if you can until you have a child. Of course, it's very, very serious and you want to prepare as best as you can, whatever that means for you mentally, psychologically, financially, emotionally. But it's one of those things that you cannot be ready for until you are raising that child till that child is here and they're looking
Mm-hmm.
to you for direction. So being able to do that for another child, I just know that I do not want to do that from scratch. And I really I don't want to be pregnant again. I don't want to breastfeed again. I love being pregnant. I love breastfeeding, but I don't want to do that again. And we have talked very seriously about fostering. We actually are licensed foster parents and talk very seriously about adoption. And we shared on social media almost a year ago, and we felt hopeful about an adoption, and that didn't go through, and that really hurt, and it hurt me a lot more than I thought it was going to because we the be careful about how I'm saying this. The people involved, they never gave a lot of promising information, but when you just want something so badly, I think you psych yourself up and you just really put out all that positive energy, and then when it doesn't happen, it really feels like a loss, and it really felt like a loss. And I think I remember asking you, is it possible to miss something that you never had? Because you know that saying, you can't miss what you never had. And I agree with that up until that point. Like I totally missed having, that other member in our family to join our family. And that really upset me. How did you feel
Mm-hmm.
during that process?
So I felt pretty much the same. Like I felt defeated. I felt like there was nobody in our corner to help us in this situation, and we were just getting brushed under the rug, pretty much. And so yeah, I just felt like there was nobody in our favor, and they was really pushing for the other party, and we didn't really have a say. Like we tried our hardest, and they, like I said, they swept us under the rug and didn't really want us to win.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else that we could have done to change the outcome, which lets me know and that maybe it wasn't meant to be in the way that it was presented to us, which kind of sucks. And when you have to come to terms with that reality, that it's kind of a hard pill to swallow. And I think
Hmm.
the other piece of that is because she is family, um, and it family is like my top value. Um, I love my family. I value family, and it felt maybe like I was letting my family down, like my biological family down, and then it felt like I was letting our son down, and it felt like a letdown for us and for me. It just felt, like you said, disappointment and defeat all the way around. Thank you for joining me on the first episode of the Free to Be podcast, Free to Be Parenting. How was it? How was your experience?
It's fun. I enjoyed it.
Good. I'm glad. So where can the folks find where can the folks find you? What are you doing? What are you up to? Tell us a little bit more.
So yeah, like we said, my name is Lavesta Posey, founder of P Dot Kids. You can find P Dot Kids on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook with the name P Dot Kids. And I have a cartoon out called Phonics Finders, where you follow Desmond in the phonic forest and you help him find words. And it helps with early childhood reading because in the cartoon we go over how to pronounce the sounds of letters and how to blend them together to make words. And we also go over some writing in that as well. So check out P Dot Kids on, like I said, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I also have toys and books available as well. And that's on my coffee page. And you can just find that in the description of all my videos. And it's just, if you go, just put in P Dot Kids in Google, it should come up. So go ahead and check it out, support the channel. I'm trying to make it really big and support our children.
If you enjoyed this episode, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Give it a thumbs up. Drop a comment. Let me know what you are thinking. Let me know that you're here so that we can have a convo. You can hit me up on Instagram at Free to Be Jazzy. That is Free to Be Jazzy, Jazzy. I would love to continue the conversation over there. Until next time, bye. I'm definitely having deja vu right now.
Why?
I've heard this your outro, and I've heard you talk about Desmond and just like the way I'm sitting and what is in my line of sight. It just all feels really familiar. So maybe that's confirmation that we are on the right path.